Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Follow Suit Fashion Unfiltered. And for all my first-time viewers, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what Follow Suit is all about. Follow Suit is a mantra, meaning follow the suit. And as you follow the suit, you're going to come to realize that the suit is a role model and also a father figure, whose goal is to give guidance to the young men of this community and also to our society. And it is my goal to salute and honor some of the individuals who have been following suit. And not only do they follow the suit, they actually put the suit on and they wear it well. Hence the point. So my guest today is the brother Abrigal Forrester. And y'all can check out his style. And I particularly asked him, we had a conversation, I specifically asked him, I should say, to come with the swagger, because this is one of the brothers that, when it comes to swagger, he puts it together like no one else I see. So I didn't want him to wear the traditional suit and tie and the bow tie and the whole 9 yards. I want him to come with the swagger, because I want to also show y'all that you don't always got to put on the shoes and the tie to get fly and be smooth. You can throw on your sneakers, your blazers and everything and get comfortable. Hence the point, my man Abrigal. So thanks for coming through, brother, and coming through like, you know, to show the brothers how to do this here.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, I think this follow suit that you're doing has very significant meaning. You know, in certain communities, even like when you look at how, even in the sort of like the mob world, right? They say like when a person put on the suit, that person is made.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that person is made, even if they're on the block, even if they're just in the sort of the diner, that man in the corner with the suit on, it says something about the next phase of what that person represents, as far as being somebody that is turned to for a level of like structure and what's up next,
right.
But also a role model, right? And even in that negativity on how they sort of set the standards for how the rules are made in that environment. And so this idea around follow suit, I think, is significant in many different ways, because today it's almost like we don't understand, like, in some ways I feel like we have like sort of debased the importance of how dress significantly influences how people interact with each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's spin into a couple of quick questions, and then we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of why I brought you here. So like I just mentioned in the beginning, swagger. Is there someone that you can say that you look to, that you admired their swagger, and inspired you to get with your swagger?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I think like we come out of a different era, you know, and so when I was thinking about coming out, I was thinking about the era that we came out of. I remember like being 16 years old. You know, I'm a 16-year-old, and like, you know, of course, the negative elements in making money, but like, you know, I come from the West, my family's from the West Indies, and like, there's a certain way that you dress. And like that swagger was represented in like we were going and getting tailor-made outfits at like 16, 17.
Right.
Because it was all about being unique, right? And that your dress represented like, again, like where you were in the game, or how you was thinking, or who you was being influenced by. Right. So there was a lot of like older brothers who had an influence in my life as father figures. They just dressed in slacks. They dressed in like clocks, shoes, and ballies and things of that sort.
Yes, sir.
And it meant something about who they were and what they represented, just in their style and their flow. And so like basically pretty much like that was like my role models was like a bunch of significant men who represented themselves at a certain level, that said, you know, even though I'm operating within this level, like there's a certain status that I have in this game.
Yes, sir.
And so that their dress code represented that. So I just followed suit.
Okay, yes, sir. There it is. There it is. So, you know, a lot of people I like to try to think about when I see them, if I know them personally, or if I just know them from being out and seeing them out and checking their styles out and stuff. So I try to base the questions around that.
Yeah.
So my next question is, you do it well as far as you can mix the high end with the streets.
No doubt.
You know, when you get dressed, you mix the high end with the streets, you know. So let's give a little taste on that. What is your thought process when you get ready to put it together like that?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because it's like, you know, in art they call it mixed media, you know? Mixed media is when you use like drawing with like metal, with like all these different components, right? And I think that like my life is mixed media, you know what I mean? I never want people to forget that And I don't forget that about myself, right? So for instance, even what I'm wearing right now, I still got on my 3 for the Stripes.
Yes,
because
sir.
3 for the Stripes is something that was like very representative of like when I was growing up. If you didn't rock 3 for the Stripes, sometimes you were seen as like, where you from? You know what I mean? And so like I still keep that swagger with me because I don't want to forget, right? And I think sometimes again your dress code represents how people, when people see you, they understand like, wait a minute, I see you got a flow, but those sneakers might tell me that, like, oh, let me second guess how I approach that brother. You know what I'm saying? Because he might have a little something with him.
Right.
I think all those dynamics is like mixed media, man. Like my life is mixed media. Today
Yes,
I'm an
sir.
executive director of a nonprofit, but like I did 10 years of a mandatory sentence and was in the streets at one point.
Yes,
so
sir.
like I represent that mixed media mentally, physically, and even in my dress code.
All right, that's we need to get it together like that. So another question is, I know because like I said, I see you out and about doing your thing,
Yes, sir.
and you always you rock a nice hat. Do you have a collection of hats?
I do, man. I have a collection of fedoras, man. I think those fedoras, again, is another representation, man. I actually forgot my fedora today. Cause
Yeah,
I
I was
got a
surprised
nice one.
I didn't
I
see
had
you
a
with
nice
this-
one that I was going to wear today, man. But I was like, so trying to get here, I forgot my fedora today. But like, yeah, I have a slew of fedoras that I wear, man, that also is a representative of who I am. You know, I think the hat game, man, is just a different level. One of the things, excuse me, even coming up, that like I was like early in the 80s, I would wear my hat backwards. And it's funny how like a lot of older cats used to pull up on me and say like, you one of the youngest cats that I see with your hat backwards, that I like how it flows on you.
Right.
And so like the hat game always been a part of my flow, you know, especially when you got what they consider to be a peanut head like mine. I think hats go good with this head.
You know, it's funny too. You say that when y'all can't see him, but we got an OG back there in the cut. He got his hat on with he got his baseball cap
That's right.
on with that cut on it, so you know what he's about when you see that.
No
you
doubt.
know what I mean?
No doubt.
Yeah. So another thing is now to the next question real quick is we're gonna talk about because we always talk about the OGs and everything and we get our inspiration, but I have a sort of a little inclination that you probably get some inspiration, you take notes, and you're not scared to talk to someone younger than you, and get a little something from out of them.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that needs to be said too. That sometimes it's cool to talk to someone younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think you know, again, I think like how you approach a young person and how you dress also influence how they engage with you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's sometimes psychologically that you need some separation. You know, there's this idea that we meet young people where they are, which is important too. But I think also sometimes like when your flow approach and represents too much of where they are, they forget that you're a grown man and they're talking to somebody that's mature, or they're talking about somebody they need to follow suit with. You feel me?
Right. Yes,
and
sir.
so like that approach is significant. Doesn't mean that you're better than or none of that, but I think like, you know, psychologically, man, dress code and how you walk up to somebody says a lot. You know, it's just like if we're sitting in here and a brother walks in with a trench coat and it's 70 degrees outside, we're gonna be like, what's he working with? You know what I mean? Right? Because that was this is the way that we all these things gave cues, right? And so like, yes, like talking to young people, but also letting them know that I'm a grown man when I approach them, that you know, that I could be like a father figure if that's what they're looking for some guidance. You know, the dress code says a lot about that, you know, and how you put yourself together says a lot about that.
Yeah. And on that note, as I mentioned that, the reason I wanted to mention that too, because I take pointers, not so much as the dress and all that, but just pointers and guidance in life and other things from young guys.
Yes.
Like the two guys off camera that you don't see right now.
Yeah.
My producers, you know, I'm giving a shout out to them, Al and D,
Yes.
because I wouldn't be in this chair without them,
Yeah.
and I appreciate them. So we're gonna spin it to X Conversation is a podcast that you was on. You have a great interview, so if y'all need to check him out some more and get to know a little bit more about the brother, there's a podcast called X Conversations. It's streaming on Tidal. You can go on there and check it out. He's episode number 1. The podcast, X Conversation. Go on there and check it out and check the brother's story out. He has a great story. And that's why he's part of the reason why he's here. And we're going to spin that into now.
Yes.
Like I said, we're saluting brothers and honoring brothers who are out here doing positive things in the community and with these young men. So tell them everything about you and what you're doing.
Yeah, well, today I'm the executive director for the Center for Teen Empowerment. You know, I'm leading that organization. You know, it's an organization that's been around for like 29 years. I've been executive director now as the first successor for the previous executive director.
Congratulations, brother.
Yeah,
Thank
I appreciate that.
Thank you for doing that for us.
Yeah, man, no doubt, man. I believe in the model that we do. Going back to the point that you made earlier, the focus of our organization is seeing young people as assets and as solution drivers for issues that we're dealing with in the community. And so we bring young people in and really give them a space where they can unpack their trauma, the issues they're dealing with systematically in the community around violence, and really build their skills to be peer influencers in a positive way.
Yes.
And so, like, we're doing some great stuff with that organization. I've been in the youth development since I was released from prison since 2001. You know, been on this track of really trying to build myself. So I'm like 2 classes away from my master's at Tufts University.
Yes, sir. All
and
praises.
It's not been about me. It's been about really trying to help young people understand that, like, no matter what your background might be, no matter where you came from, if you put your best foot forward, you can still achieve. So I went from, you know, being somebody that was convicted in 1991 with people saying there was no hope and despair to now being a leader of an executive director of one of the premier organizations in the community. And so that says a lot, and that's the example, right? That's, again,
Yes.
this follow suit can't be about just wearing a suit.
Exactly.
It's about what you putting in the suit in your body, your mind, and your soul, and how
Exactly.
you rocking
That's
that to be an influencer for the next
That's right.
generation. So,
Mhm.
so today, yeah, I'm the executive director for this organization, just trying to lead the way to continue to deal with some of these issues around violence and stuff we have going on. And again, trying to be that example for young people to say that, like, there's hope when you think there's hope, there isn't any.
That's good. And you said you got we was talking off camera, you got a
Yeah.
couple of programs, I should say projects. You got
Yeah.
a couple of projects
Yes,
y'all working
yes.
on. Tell them a little bit about the projects. Look
Yeah.
right in that camera and let them
Yeah,
know.
man, we got this big project coming up. It's called "Stop Senseless Smoke: Promoting Peace Through the Power of the People." Tagline that I gave to the organization around this, but really the focus is on this violence intervention and prevention. You know, since the COVID-19, there's been a huge uptick in violence. Even the uptick now that's happening is happening earlier than it normally does. Usually around Memorial Day, we start to see an uptick in violence,
Yes, yes.
but now it's already started. And so, after sitting at the table with public safety with the city of Boston Office of Public Safety, basically recommended how we could play it in a lane as teen empowerment to solve some of these issues. So our young people are organizing. We have an annual peace conference, and the young people have put together a movie that they're building with an original track, soundtrack that goes with it, all original work from young people at Teen Empowerment, all studio work. I'm talking about original beats, original sound, original skit, all that's going to air on May 26th. It's going to be a virtual event, actually. The May 26th date is going to be 2 days. And you can log online, and we're asking people to just come on and hear about this senseless smoke, man. How we can, the term smoke stands for, like, conflict, violence and conflict between individuals or communities or neighborhoods. And so we're on this Stop Senseless Smoke campaign. And this event is not only going to be one-off, but we actually just got funded through BPHC to support a placard campaign. So we're looking to get placards on the MBTA buses, on the bus shelters, so that we can start speaking to the mind of young people, right? That listen, at the end of the day, the only people that can stop this violence is the young people.
That's right.
But they also need to understand, like, what's the options for opportunity when they put them guns down.
That's right.
And so what we want to say is not just stop the violence, but, like, look, all these things are happening that are outlets and opportunities for you to find another avenue to address the issues that you're dealing with.
Okay. So do you have an email or something that they can reach you if
Yeah.
someone wants to get in contact with you because they like what they're hearing? And they might have a kid or a young man they need to get to that program?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost go to www.teenempowerment.org. That's our website. All of the information that I'm talking about is posted on that website. You can also email me. My name is Abrigal. My first name and at Teen Empowerment. So it's ABRIGAL at Teen Empowerment. All one word. TEENEMPOWERMENT.org. You can email me, or you can call 617-536-4266. Just reach out. Somebody will answer the phone, and you just tell them that you're looking and interested in getting a young person involved in teen empowerment.
Hey, brother, man, I can't say no more, but I'm here to salute you and honor you, and I thank you for all that you're doing, man. It's my pleasure having you on the show, man.
Listen, man, it's emotional, man, because we came a long way, brother.
Yes, sir.
I love you. I appreciate the work that you're doing. It's been years we've been trying to build, man, and trying to make something happen.
Right. We're
So
trying, man.
I just want to say, man, as small as this might seem, this is huge, man, because at the end of the day, as we sit here together as brothers, man, knowing what we've gone through, we ain't supposed to be here, man.
That's right.
So, thank God that we're
Thank
here.
God.
And listen, man, you called me, and I followed suit to sit here in the seat, man, to follow you. So I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you more.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
You got it.
And that's our episode. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be back.